Well, we share a lot in common. We've both been in the business over 45 years, I think, and we're also West Ham supporters.
And that's each and not in the aggregate. Yeah.
Shame about the results on Monday, but
Yes.
I'm sure we'll do well in the end.
Yeah.
Talking about Baden, as you know, we used to come down together, didn't we? We used to drive together.
We did indeed, yeah.
They were good fun. With John Parry,
yes,
Johnny Morris.
going back to the older days.
The older days. How did you get down here this time?
This time, and as I've done the last couple of years since our friend JP, our chauffeur, has retired, we come down on the train these days, which is much more comfortable than the flying out of Stansted. So, we tend to do Eurostar to Paris, nice little lunch in Paris, and then the train to Karlsruhe, more civilised than I think any other way of travelling. Yeah.
Have you had many meetings? Here?
Quite a few, enough.
Enough.
Trying to manage the schedule.
And what I mean, the message we're getting from reinsurers, if you were to be asked, is it going to continue to remain or get harder, stay flat or reduce? What would you say?
I'd err towards the stay flat. You know, I think, and particularly for myself, more from a retrocessional background, it was such a torrid renewal last year, and all the remedial work, I think, was tackled last year. So all of the key conversations have been a lot calmer this year, and the work was done last year. We're not expecting from the buyer side too much change, and generally, I think the reinsurers haven't been, pushing. It's been more listening to changes on the specific accounts rather than anyone trying to force issues. Yeah.
What I notice, everybody talks about underwriting discipline. They talk about underwriting discipline at all points in the market cycle. When it's weak, they talk about maintaining discipline and not underwriting business. And when it's very firm and hard, like we could categorize the conditions this time, they want to maintain discipline by maintaining the rates. So. Yeah, it's a message we've probably heard for the last 30 years, and it doesn't change in that sense.
I think generally, the conversations at the primary reinsurance level rather than the retrocession have been a little more, maybe in certain areas that's got a bit more catching up to do. And we have colleagues here that handle Turkish business. So, if anything directly loss affected like that, there's still a lot of discussion, and market's still finding its level on that. But the broader European, US retrocessional thing, yes, it's going to be I think an easier renewal season all round than this time last year.
Yeah, I think that's the message I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So, Glyn, just to finish up, thinking about Baden, what's one of your what do you love about Baden, and what are your, is there anything you think any drawbacks?
Drawbacks certainly sleep. Generally. No, I love the town of Baden. It's a shame we spoil it every year by placing 3,000 bloody reinsurance people in it. But no, there's a fun side like locations behind us. But, and it's good to catch up with people. And I do always say, and this is common. I'm in Singapore next week for the conference over there. I was at Monte Carlo. I see people even from London that I only tend to bump into at these conferences. These days.
It's the same, I agree.
Which is always a lovely, connecting with people, because we're not even in London, we're not as face-to-face as we used to be. So I think that's the bit I really enjoy about it.
I agree with that. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Glyn.
Thank you, Paul.